can take the whole day.
American embassy. What constitutes
Gentlemen, it's okay.
Biometric verification?
No, not even only that. You travel to the more developed countries. You're a visitor. You want to verify whatever. Your data is verified biometrically. That's okay. That's okay. We end this. The government says students in public tertiary institutions will now have to pay their own utility bills as one of the innovative alternative means to tackle increasing utility debts in public universities. And I know Emmanuel Chamantinja, member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, has a number of universities in this constituency.
Very much so.
Okay, at least 2 public universities, I know.
No, one.
No, one.
Really?
Okay.
Two.
UPSA is not part of it.
No, but GIMPA and
GIMPA, yeah. And they're all public.
But
I think
public,
GIMPA is it's not residential.
By far and large, it's fee paying. Most students there. So it really will not fall into this category. I think it is the University of Ghana.
They don't have mass mass base. Okay, and as a result of that, they said a decision was reached apparently just about a month ago, and March, and in that very agreement they called the UPSA Accra Agreement, or the UPSA Agreement. Leaders of the students, as well as the teachers, the various vocational institution administrators, etc., all agreed to that agreement they call the UPSA Declaration. I start with your constituency that has the biggest public university.
Okay, I'll come back to this. You know,
you wanted to...
when you were reading, you read the government says students in public tertiary universities will now have to pay their own utility bills as one of, and I quote, innovative alternative means.
There was a quotation there.
Yeah. I mean,
from whoever they quoted the source from. Yeah. Not a bad idea. It should be innovative and alternative.
Well, it tickles me really. What is innovative about this?
Something that's new and never done. Something that's novel.
What is innovative about this? That you ask students to go pay utility bills, and you call this innovative. In any case, going back to this, I have heard that there seems to be some huge misunderstanding even amongst the leadership of the students. One side is saying, oh yes, we went there and we agreed on it. Another side is saying, where did this agreement come from? I have heard SRC president saying that no, this is almost an imposition. And I think it is unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate to the extent that we are almost polarizing students' leadership, the student movements in this country. We must all admit that in the heydays of military dictatorship, the vanguard, what really stood against those regimes was a united student leadership. Today, unfortunately, if you look at NUCs, there are two NUCs. When you go to SRC,
my thing is, we don't have a revolution in Ghana. So
you don't need a revolution. You don't need a revolution. You need, I think you need, for me, you need leadership that is consistent. You don't need to be diametrically opposed. Student leadership does not need to be diametrically opposed to government on every front.
You're saying that their fronts have been infiltrated?
Yes, I think that is what has happened. It is very unfortunate. So today, you see probably part of, even NUCs, part of the executive saying, yes, we have agreed on this. And another party saying, where did this come from? I have heard University SRC president saying, this is an imposition and we will not take it. The matter never came to us, and ultimately we should have, when it was discussed, it should have been brought to us, because really and truly at the end of the day, they are just representatives of the students. Okay. But, so that is for me is the first point. The nature of the so-called agreement is, to the extent that it is questioned by some of the leadership, becomes, I'm sitting with the lawyer, so I'm being very careful about the word to use. Put a huge question mark on it. The second thing that
I mean, the credibility of
the credibility of the so-called agreement.
It's a declaration, the UPSA declaration.
Yeah. The second thing I would want to say is, I'm just wondering, how have we found ourselves here? Look, the real reason for this, and we must admit it, is that government has gone to IMF. And in the IMF conditionalities, they are saying that there shall be no subsidies on electricity and petroleum. This is just a reflection of they are just going to according to the dictates of the IMF conditionalities. It is clear that we will not, if you want us to go on with this working agreement for 3 years, some of the conditions are that there shall be no subsidies whatsoever. So I'm saying that this is we are only beginning to see the application of our engagement with IMF. I don't believe so-called social democrats. I want to believe that probably this was on their own volition. This is the last thing they would have loved to do. But you have an agreement, and the man has his shackles around your neck. So you will go according to the dictates of that agreement. Indeed, it happened in Parliament the day the budget was passed. First thing, one of the requirements was that you should impose VAT on petroleum products. I say we sat in Parliament and they used their numbers to pass it. Okay, it is beginning to unfold. And I really and truly feel sorry for the students. I think that, you know, sometimes when you have had that benefit and you become a leader and you sit at the back and what you benefited from, you begin to think that, or what you benefited from as a right, now you are beginning to say it is not a right, you must pay for it. I think it is, sometimes it is sad. I mean, I'm a product of the University of Science and Technology. When we were in the university, we were giving pocket money. You would say that, oh, those times are not the same.
Pocket money, same as Bangla.
Bangla, we call it Bangla.
It's same as Bangla.
Yeah, it is for feeding costs.
Bangla.
Okay, Bangla.
So you want Bangla to be...
the drift of my argument is that we have gotten here because...
of certain actions that have been taken
because of certain actions. The root of it has been we have not managed this economy well. Look, if we had managed this economy well, this economy should have expanded to cover all of this. But because we have not managed this economy well, today, even feeding allowance for orphanages are not paid. This is how low we have sunk. This is how low we have sunk. So, for me, I am not surprised that they are asking universities. It is not just going to end at the universities. It is going everywhere because it is a conditionality, and we are just beginning to see it.
Because it's not only we have the teacher training as well as the vocational training colleges. I'm sure even
in secondary schools, they are going to build
colleges.
Them.
I'm sure.
As at secondary schools, they are going to be built. Parents are
ministries, departments, etc. are expecting.
Yeah, government. Well, ministries, departments, and agencies are government agencies.
That's what we have.
The challenge we have today. Okay, the challenge we have today. After all, they tell us that they've gone to MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation, and all the money is going to go into the energy sector. The challenge we have today is that the electricity company is telling government that you owe us, and I think it is a trigger for the money to come. Government must settle its outstandings with the electricity company of Ghana.
That's why we have all
these. And it runs several millions.
And dates years back.
It runs several millions. The last count I heard was about 700 million.
Serious liabilities. Now, as you make comment on this, we're getting added criticism that this is going to have enormous toll on students, even though we have a policy in public institutions of in, out, out, so to speak.
Roland, let me say that this decision came out from a stakeholder meeting.
Sure.
So it is at the proposal stage. It's not as if it is being implemented. You have brought people together. This is what we intend to do. What do you have to say?
It's been agreed on.
No.
Signed.
No,
sealed.
No. I'm saying that the decision came out of a 25th March meeting, which drew stakeholders in tertiary education to one auditorium at the University of Professional Studies. So this decision came out of their stakeholder meetings. Now, is it being implemented? You have to draw the
No, it's not being implemented.
Exactly.
But the communication from the states.
So this one,
is that's a
this one
decision
will
that's
now,
going to be implemented.
Yes, this will now be subject to implementation. And the government will then announce that it intends to do this. So there's no closure on suggestions as to whether this decision is appropriate or not. So let's put it at that, and let's understand that the Ministry of Education or the government has not come to say that beginning from the next academic year, this is what is going to happen.
Respectfully, Council. Respectfully, Council. No. On my way here, I listened to Professor Muhammad Deweja. Respectfully, Council. Professor who? Muhammad Deweja, who is he was my professor in the university. He taught me pharmacology. But I think he's chairman for National Council for Tertiary Education. On another platform, as I was coming here,
because I know he
says that from August, when universities reopen, it is going to be implemented.
Okay, Mr. your point has been made.
Now, the decision, I disagree that it's an IMF imposition. Currently, government pays for water used by lecturers on campus, government pays for water used by students, and government pays for water used by the university itself for academic facilities and all those things. The question to ask is this sustainable going forward? And so because of its sustainability, government decided that we can still pay for, and that should be made clear, government will still pay for the use of water by the academic facilities, that's the university itself. So water that is used at the science laboratory, he understands, will be paid by government. But water used by lecturers living on campus is what government will say we won't take it up. And then water used by students at the hall of residence. So it's not as if it's a blanket statement to say that government will not pay.
And let's talk about energy. They will have to pay. I hear the government will bear 30% of the cost. Then they bear 70%. Is that not? I think there's a certain percentage like that.
Well, so it is about the sustainability of this payment over the years that has brought us to where we are. Don't forget that at the time that he was taking allowance, the population in the universities was just negligible. Indeed, they slept in single rooms.
No.
I slept 2 in a room, and in my final year, I slept 1. So now you don't have it that way. The population is so thick. Can government continue to, as it were, pay for all this? And so that is the sustainability policy. How can government also maybe absorb and ensure that the poor in society will not be much affected? I think the debate should be towards that, because there are some.
But when a decision has already been taken, why is it that
there should be at the point that will absorb
at the point where, or prior to taking this very decision, or even going into this very stakeholder meeting, this idea was not pre-tested?
Which one?
If the idea of saying that there won't be, or perhaps if there won't be full cost sharing, there's going to be transfer of cost as far as this is concerned onto the students or the guardians of the students, etc. Why is it that this idea was not pre-tested to make it more participatory then? Because now a decision has been taken on when this will be implemented.
That I don't know whether.
Well, true.
I'm hearing from him.
This whole news broke yesterday.
I'm hearing from him that the implementation will take place in June.
No, when universities
will open for the next academic year.
Yes.
But when you read your heading, students to pay as government shares cost. So it was made clear that it's cost sharing, because you asked the question that why did the government not make this clear at the stakeholder meeting? So it is clear that it's cost sharing. But I'm saying that this would hurt some students because of where they come from and because of the poverty level in some communities. So we need to ensure that there's some safety nets that would ensure that these people, is it that their district assemblies would have to come in and help these students? I think that should be done.
I don't know the point about the district assemblies and what sort of safety nets there are, because the other side of the argument that I've heard is that the public universities have a policy of having in residential, out residential, and then
out in.
Okay, in, out, and then you have an in the final year. Now, if you go out, you still go into a private hostel residence of some sort, of which you bear full cost of whatever utility you use as a private resident. Why is it that you can't bear the same full cost when you are residents on campus? And this time, you're not even bearing the full cost. I think government is taking about 30% of it, so to speak.
You see, I've been listening to my good friend, Lawyer Malva, and I just sit here and say, how so convenient. You know, let's face it, I think that the viewers will agree with me that he's changed his position twice or thrice already in this presentation.
On this matter?
Yeah. Now, first is that, this is not even a matter that is agreed on. It is a stakeholder. Closure has not been brought to it.
You're just telling me that it will be implemented. So I'm saying I'm hearing it from you for the first time.
Okay, so yeah. I am stating emphatically that the matter is closed.
I'll check it.
I have heard. I
won't take it from you. I'll check.
Very well. Oh yes, why not? I mean, I have heard Professor Muhammad Deweja talk about the university catering for the common areas. They will pay lights in the common areas, and of course, let's face it, the university students pay academic user fees now, and facility user fees. You understand? So you are beginning to ask, what is this new thing? It is just an increment on the quantum of these fees. That is what all of it is about. I am Lawyer Maliba is saying, when I was in the university, the population was not that much. When I was in the university, the GDP of this country was not that much.
But that's true.
Yeah. Yes, it is true. But I'm also saying that the wealth of this nation was not that much. 25 years ago, it was nothing. Today, the GDP is well in excess of 100 billion. So if you want us to compare the population size, there must be some basis. The population size and the wealth of this country was just like this. Today, the population is gone up. The wealth of this country has grown exponentially. The only thing is that it should have been much better than it is now.
So you're saying at the basis of it is that the economy has not been managed well?
The economy has not been managed well.
Okay. But do you agree? But do you agree or not?
He will say that it is not. It is. I am stating as a matter of fact that this is a conditionality of IMF.
Do you agree or not?
What's your source?
Do you agree or not that we need to come to terms with the fact that the world is moving and government cannot be giving everything free to its people?
Yes, I agree to a certain extent. It is to a certain extent. Look, at the pinnacle of capitalism in the United States of America, one of the new things they are introducing, because even in America they realize the importance of education, in their new budget, Obama says he is going to pay for people who go to community colleges. You must make some investment somewhere. By considered view, stop paying off-budget expenditures. Stop paying the unnecessary bills that you pay, and you will find money to do the appropriate things in our own lives at home, in our own lives as heads of family. You decide that I will not do this because I am constrained. But you will select what is most important. Right. I want to believe that every parent, the first thing on your list will be your children's education, your school fees. You understand me? The way I react, the way council will react, must not be very different from the way government reacts.
But you see, this government has spent 6% of GDP in the educational sector, when the global average is 5%. So we are doing well in terms of how we finance the educational sector.
You can do better.
And it is not as if that this country is not doing well in the education. That's why we are attracting foreign students to come to this country. But yes, the biggest room in this world is a room of improvement. So we can always ask for more.